With the Amp Touch instrument, you can connect an electric guitar or bass and play using realistic amp sounds combined with stompbox effects. You can adjust amp controls, add effects and tune your instrument. In this video, we're going to look at how you can play the amp in Garageband for iPad. So firstly then, getting started, cycle over to the amp option in the sound browser and then tap into the amp. On the left hand side, you can choose whether you want to use a guitar or a bass amp, depending on what kind of guitar you are using. You can also select the kind of sound you want to come out of your amp, so that just from a clean source you can then create effects added on top of that. And you've got options from clean, crunchy sounds, distorted sounds and processed sounds. There's so many different ones. And when it says tone collection, what you can do is you can then select what you need and then you can download more from the sound library if you don't have what you would like. And then over on the right hand side you've got your input level. Now you'll see it's green because it's picking up my voice from the microphone. When I stop talking, it doesn't go green. When it goes green, it means I'm talking. You click on that, it looks like a jack. Now with the input settings, you get to choose whether or not the volume level is set. And you can see it's maybe a little bit on the high side. So when I speak, you can see if I've turned it down, it's not going to be quite as loud. Signal is really good. But if you're not sure, tapping on automatic will give you the option to set the level automatically, which is always quite handy. Below this then, and in another video, we'll explain more about the inter-app audio, where you can use other apps to interact with Garageband. And then below here you can monitor. So when I click monitor on, you will be able to hear my voice coming through the microphone such as that. But you might want to think that's a bit too noisy, a bit too rubbish. So below that you can change the noise gate, and in doing that you can cut out some of the plosives and make it sound a little bit better to make it sound much better in a noisy environment. So we're going to switch monitor off. I might just turn this noise gate down a little bit more just so we can get a bit more of the recording. And that is basically the inputs options, the input settings for the amp. On the right of that, you can then tune your bass or your guitar. And as you can see here, it's just trying to pick out notes from my spoken voice because that's the source. But you'll probably use an input device to plug your guitar or bass into, and that will give you a much cleaner sound and a much more accurate sound in terms of the tuning. So then on the amp itself, you can see there's a variety of different control knobs. You've got gain, bass, mid and treble. Most guitar amps have these on there, so it really helps you shape your sound. Next one is the level of the reverb. The next one is the tremolo, the depth and the speed of the tremolo, the way which is sort of waves up and down. And then the next one you've got presence, master and the volume output. Similar to any amp, what you would then do is just tap on any of these. And by moving your finger up and down, you can then change the outputs of that, just like you would a real amp. All from a simple device, just by plugging it directly into the iPad. So the next aspect is the stomp box effects. So if you have a look down at the stomp box here, you can see that both of these are off. We've got a compressor and we've also got a chorus pedal. You see the chorus pedal's already on and we've already got the compressor switched on. Again, you've got sustain and you've got the level, so you can change these to your heart's content. You'll be monitoring the sound through some headphones, I would imagine, or if you had a USB mixer plugged into your iPad, you'll then be able to sort out some of the sounds directly through there. So to replace, what you then do is you just click on any one and you'll see you've got a list of options that you can replace them with. So you've got flangers, you've got wah-wah pedals, you've got all sorts of different options. So if you wanted to replace with a wah-wah, you could just do that, and you can do really nice nifty things with there using either your fingers to control the wah, or you can also use your mouth, because up here you'll see all of a sudden it has appeared our friendly face once again, whereas you click this and then you open and close your mouth, you can then control the wah-wah pedal. So it's a really nice feature to be able to do that too, and that just uses the camera. To add another pedal, just click the blank slot and then choose one accordingly. And if you don't want a pedal, just click on the pedal that you don't want. You just click on the no entry sign, and yet again, no entry sign, and it gets rid of it. So you just keep it to just a clean amp sound that you want, and of course you can change the amp sound as much as you possibly want. These have been modelled on real life amps, so these are very close to accurate amps, especially as amps are very expensive I'm very bulky, I'm very heavy, so it's a good way to be able to create a sound that you want, to experiment with the kind of sound that you're looking for, and this will happen when you plug in your guitar or your bass directly into the iPad. We'll have a bit more about the devices used in a different video to help you achieve this, but for now this is the basics of the amp controls, monitoring and the stompbox effects in that as well. But once you've got the sound you want, you can then save the sound. So you can save the sound like you would any other. You can do that by clicking on Chrome Clean and then saving your sound as you would normally. So that's the basics of the amp in Garageband for iPad. Next video we're going to be looking at is the audio recorder in Garageband for iPad. So you'll have a lot of fun with that, I'm sure. But for this video, that's us. So have a good time and we'll see you in the next video.